It's been a day of memorials in East London in remembrance of 21 people, many of them youngsters who lost their lives in the eNyobeni tavern tragedy in East London. We cross now to our reporter, Kim Daniels. Kim, we understand that all the bodies have been identified. How are the families coping, and what are the plans, and what happened today?
As you can understand, anyone in this position would be absolutely beside themselves in grief, in pain. What they're feeling right now must be so unimaginable. But they have the support of their communities, of their churches, of their friends, their families, their loved ones in this very tough time. This afternoon, one of the Methodist churches here in East London went to the site at the eNyobeni tavern where they had done a prayer, sang praise songs, just to, give their condolences to the grieving families, to share in their pain and to let them know that they are there and that they aren't in this alone. Right now, as I'm speaking, the ANC Youth League is also holding a candlelight memorial, also in remembrance for these young people who lost their lives in the early hours of Sunday morning. From what we understand, a mass funeral will be held on Wednesday, just so that these fallen can be buried together. The results of the autopsy still isn't out yet. Speaking to Brigadier Kanana earlier today, he had told us that they're not rushing the process, that people shouldn't speculate. He understands people are anxious, people are looking for answers, but as soon as they have results, then they will get it back to us so that these families can have some sort of closure to know what happened to their loved ones.
What about the scene of the tavern? We heard that it was obviously closed temporarily and it was guarded. Have you been able to see, is there much activity around the tavern itself?
When we were at the tavern earlier at the site, it was closed off with police tape. There were forensic officers there combing through the place from head to toe. When I spoke to one of them, they did mention that they're looking for chemicals and substances. So they were looking for chemicals in the food, in the beverages, and even in the generator that was on that evening. They're hoping that the toxins that they find there, or the chemicals that they find there, match these autopsies so that we do find some sort of link, and we can obviously eventually get the cause of death of these 21 young people.
And finally, so a mass funeral on Wednesday. Can you give us more details? How will that be managed logistically? Are the families of all 21 of these mostly youngsters involved? And presumably it'll be a huge community event.
We have no details as of yet. Tomorrow morning we will be speaking to the province to hear how they are going about this mass funeral. Hopefully by then we'll have some logistics, where it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, if indeed it's happening in Wednesday, because these are only talks. People are hoping that the funeral will be on Wednesday. Speaking to Brigadier Kinana, as I mentioned earlier, said that whether or not the results come out before the funeral must happen, and it's important, he said, that all these young people who passed on Sunday get buried together.
All right, thank you very much for that update, a story that will continue to follow very closely for you. That was Kim Daniels.